In this video, I interview Lee Jackson, one of our CartFlows customers, and he's going to share exactly how he uses CartFlows in his business. Let's get right on into the interview. So for this customer spotlight for CartFlows, we have none other than Lee Jackson. And instead of me just introducing and saying all these great things about you, Lee, I'm sure most people already know who you are. I want to give you the chance to let everybody know who you are, what you do, and all of that good stuff.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Lee Jackson, and I am from the Agency Trailblazer podcast. You can find that on agencytrailblazer.com. We run a podcast for agency owners around the world, helping you reduce your stress and run a profitable business, or essentially fall in love with your business again. I'm a big fan of WP Crafter, have been watching it for many years. So it's a massive honor, mate, to be on your show and also to be one of your customer spotlights because we are loving using CartFlows.
Well, I'm glad. I love seeing how people are using CartFlows, and that's the whole point of this video series, is just to get the actual people that are using it, that it's making a difference for them, to get them here and to share that story. And so you were perfect for that, because you showed me how you're using it, and it's impressive. So have you
Thanks, man.
ever, prior to CartFlows, have you ever used any of the other sales funnel tools, whether maybe for you or for a client, or maybe some of the software as a service or WordPress based solutions?
Sure. So we have used a few, not for ourselves. We've always been stuck with WooCommerce for our own projects or for third-party tools that do something. I can talk about that in a second. But for clients, we've been inside of things like ClickFunnels, etc., to try and help them do what they need to do. So obviously, sometimes clients will come to us. They'll have a WordPress website, but they won't realize that they can do everything they need to do inside of WordPress necessarily. So they'll have this whole extra thing on the side. And I do remember logging into ClickFunnels a few times. It's very restrictive, the experience that we would have. We couldn't really design what we wanted to for the client. And also, we couldn't necessarily do the features that we wanted to provide to the client, partly because obviously the platform is limited. It's an online SaaS that they need to lock down. They can only offer so many features, but also because it's just a massive freaking learning curve for us, because we're so used to WordPress and doing all of the free and flexible things that you can do with WordPress. So having to be restricted by a client's ClickFunnel account was something we just found too frustrating, and we actually stopped offering that service. I mean, we never offered it in the first place, but when a client would say, "Oh, hey, we have ClickFunnels as well. Can you help us with it?" we were just like flat out, "Sorry, guys, let's go and get a ClickFunnels expert for that, or move to WordPress."
Exactly. I totally can relate to that experience, because here you are, a WordPress user, and I always harp on this one point, is that we're so spoiled, right? We have the
Mm,
best of the best of, like, page building tools. I mean, we know how to use them. We love using them. They're just awesome. And so,
yeah.
it's kind of hard to go from that, from this open platform that like the back of your hand, to go from that, and then to go to something closed where you can't make a change, really. You can't add a feature. You're just kind of stuck with how it is. So,
Yeah.
so how are you using CardFlows? Why don't you tell us how you're using it today?
Okay, sure. So, what we've got is a new live event that we're doing here in the UK, and that's for agency owners all to get together in one place and help them get that next stage of transformation in their business. So, you can find that on agencytransformation.live. What we wanted to do was use CartFlows in conjunction with WooCommerce. So, WooCommerce is a great, powerful platform, but it's also quite frustrating. It's something we've used for a long time, and I've aired my views on that, especially the checkout process. But when we saw CartFlows, we're like, okay, this is going to help us do our event registration and allow us to offer the extra things that we want to offer to people as they're purchasing tickets. Because we are offering, in a few days' time, we'll be offering a masterclass with Troy Dean, which will be a whole third day. But how could we do that with, say, something like with something like WooCommerce, etc., without a product page and people adding stuff to carts, etc., and it just being an ugly interface? So we decided to use CartFlows for that. We've got one order bump on there at the moment for a digital implementation session, but we're about to add on in the next couple of days the one-click click upsell, as it were, which would be the next page after people have purchased their ticket. They are then presented with the option of having that full day masterclass with Troy Dean himself at our event. So that'd be on the third day. So that was one of the main reasons, again, that we grabbed hold of CartFlows. Shall I tell you about what else we're doing, kind of the back office stuff, or shall I tell you about that in a second?
Oh, yes. I was going to try to twist your arm. That was going to be the next question,
Okay.
like the back office side of it, because you're basically able to do stuff now that was very hard before to do, and you have a lot of personal experience in that. If you could share that with
Absolutely.
us.
Sure thing. So when we launched our membership community last year, I did want to use WooCommerce subscriptions, etc., so that I could build up the membership platform that way. But I was just frustrated with getting WooCommerce and all of that set up. It felt like a lot of bloat for what I needed to do. So I ended up using Paid Membership Pro and getting all of that set up. But the problem there we had was is that we had a great system to onboard people into WordPress, into our membership site, but we had no platform to be able to then upsell them things that they might need. And equally, we didn't have the ability to be able to seamlessly integrate into our accounts package either. Whereas with something like WooCommerce, you've got the Zapier integration, which allows you then to integrate into your third-party accounts platform. So what we've done with the event is once somebody purchases a ticket, that goes through WooCommerce, through the Zapier add-on, for WooCommerce, and will then go straight into QuickBooks. It will first of all see if the customer exists. If they don't exist, it will create a customer. It will then create the invoice for them with all of the tax and all of that relevant information. And that's all very complicated here in the UK because we have to charge different rates of EU tax as well. So it monitors all of that, puts that into the invoice. And then what it also does is it checks all the payment information from Stripe, puts all that in there, and then adds a payment and closes down that invoice. So it essentially does everything that our accountant would need us to do automatically, instantly, the minute someone has paid with their credit card, which is phenomenal because last year I had to pay an awful lot of money to bookkeepers to help us reconcile all of those memberships that we got in last year because there was no way of automating that. So that's allowed us to automate this process. So what we're doing for the upcoming year is also installing CartFlows inside of our Agency Trailblazer community so that when we're onboarding our new members, they'll actually be able to subscribe that way instead. And we'll also then have really nice landing pages that we can create to sell extra products to our community members or upsells to people that might be interested in coming on board. That's what I love. We've got Beaver Builder, which we love with a passion. We also use Elementor as well. So having that design control over every single stage of the payment process, I think is really, really important. I mean, for example, if you go ahead and check out Agency Transformation Live and just go and take a look at the registration page, you'll see that we're able to put testimonials on there. There's a picture of me on there, and we can put other stuff on there as well as and when we want to make that page as attractive and to compel people to go ahead and register and attend the event. And we'll be able to do the same as well with our membership community. So I'm really, really excited because before we either used to have different plugins or we would have to start trying to create hooks and all sorts of different, we'd have to hook into WooCommerce to try and change the design so that we weren't copying template files down and hand coding stuff. So yeah, really excited. You can tell I'm a fan, mate.
And I appreciate that. You know, when I saw your order come through, I was like, yes, Lee's gonna have this in his hands and he'll be using it in some way. And I'm actually so impressed hearing how you're using it because it just goes to show that having it sit on top of WooCommerce opened up a whole world of possibilities that is ready for you right now. You don't have to go and hire a developer or some coder to string everything together. It's just all there already done for you. It's just figuring out how you want to do it. And you definitely have put together a pretty sweet use case there, selling tickets using CartFlows. And I saw your checkout page and I saw your upsell offer, and you kind of told me I saw the order bump. And you told me what the upsell offer is going to be there. And I just thought, I mean, I love seeing what you're doing with the product. I love seeing your face on the checkout page. You know what I mean? A fellow Baldy right there on the checkout page.
Why not?
And all the testimonials and the frequently asked questions, all of that, it looks fantastic. So the question is, if someone wants to go and see what you've done with CartFlows, what is the address to the event page? I think we might have said it once or twice. I'll link to it below, but I want to hear it from you.
Sure.
Where can people go to see what you're doing?
agencytransformation.live to go and see what I'm doing there. And then if you're watching this in the future, then you can also check out agencytrailblazer.com, because if you want to join that membership community, that is where we're using CartFlows next. And I'm sure we'll probably have another conversation, whether it's on my podcast, mate, or whether you have me back on for me to share how we've used CartFlows for our membership community.
Yes, when you're using it there in the membership scenario, you've got to come back and tell us how that's going, the different stages of implementing it, and just some of the people that are just started. It's almost like once you have CartFlows, you can never go back. You have it, you use it, and then you look at all of these different areas where you can swap out what you're using and use CartFlows and just have a way better, easier to implement system that is better for the buyer, better for you, better for everybody. So, Lee,
you literally sounded like a politician.
Jumping on and sharing your experience with CartFlows here with the audience. And did we get you to plug everything? Did you talk about the podcast and everything?
Yep, talked about the podcast, talked about the event. I filtered it all through, mate. You gave me lots of opportunities.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I'll do, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll have links to all of the things that Lee has going on down below. And if you're watching this on the website, I'll have the links there as well. Lee, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Cheerio.
So there you have it. Lee Jackson of Agency Trailblazer using CartFlows. Now, there was a couple moments in the interview where it looked like I was talking over Lee. It's simply because my Bluetooth headphone had broken and it wasn't working. So I was having a hard time hearing him. And so I went out and bought a new set, obviously, because I need them now. But there was just a couple technical issues there. I wasn't being rude to Lee. I love Lee. We're really good friends. But I didn't have these with me, and if I did, it would have been a lot easier there. So anyways, thanks for watching the interview. Remember to give it a thumbs up on this video. Go ahead, click on that subscribe button, and then click on that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next customer success story.